Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington.
Betty Anderson has fled from her brief marriage to Stephen Cord. In spite of Stephen's pleas, there has been no reconciliation. Not because Betty doesn't love her husband enough to share his life, but because she is unable to tell him the secret, which might wreck his life. But he is actually the brother of Anne Howard.
Who was it? Oh, from Stephen? What is it? What does he say? Betty, say something. What is it? Betty?
Stephen wants me to divorce him. Elliot.
We both talked a lot about wanting the good life, but we didn't mean the same thing. Because to me, you were the good life, Betty. While to you, I was only the necessary down payment on what you really wanted. The house, the furniture, the whole sleek, shining inventory of success.
That's not true.
Well, they're yours. You can consider the contract paid in full, even if it didn't turn out to be for a lifetime. You must have hurt Stephen terribly for him to write this.
I know.
Betty? Did you and Rod?
No. There's nothing between us, Mother, nothing. A friendship, a loyalty, but not what you're thinking.
After the trial, if Rod had turned to you instead of Allison...
That was before my marriage.
There wouldn't have been a marriage. Not to Stephen. You married Stephen because you couldn't have Rodney.
And now I can? Because he and Allison have broken up? Is that what you're saying? That I sloughed off my marriage to chase after Rod?
You wouldn't be the first woman who looked outside of her home for love and lived to regret it.
Your marriage was falling apart, but ours was just beginning to grow. I meant what I told you last night. The longer I live with Stephen, the more... I was going to say the more I learned to love him. But I don't live with him, not anymore. It's over.
Daddy. Honey, Stephen doesn't want a divorce any more than you do. If you just go to him. Are you too proud?
No, not proud, not after what happened. Stephen came to see me at Mr. Peyton's house. He blamed himself for what happened, his faults, his own problems. For Stephen to humble himself like that, I knew what it cost. I loved him for it. All I wanted was to hold him close and say, take me home, Stephen, take me home.
But you didn't. How could you send him away?
I had to.
Betty, I don't understand you. You say you love Stephen.
But I can't go back to him. Whatever Stephen thinks now, it would only be more of the same, more jealousies, more suspicions.
Why? There's something you're not telling me. Is it his mother? Has she been interfering with your marriage?
In her own way, she has.
But she gave you the house?
What's the good of talking?
Because you've got to fight. Look, 2 marriages, and both of them failures in less than 2 years.
Maybe I wasn't cut out to be a wife.
That is nonsense. Betty, the first time, a lot of it was my fault. I just stood by, and I watched while Leslie Harrington pushed you and Rodney apart because I had my own guilt. But this time, Betty, you have got to fight back.
I wish it were that simple.
Look, Stephen wants to believe you, not his mother.
It's more than just his mother. It's little things. They've built up. I can't explain, Mother.
Well, don't explain. Not to me. Explain to Stephen. Just talk to him. Betty, you can't sit there just hoping for a miracle. If your marriage is going to be saved, you have got to save it. Now go to the phone. Call Stephen.
I can't.
Do you love him? If you do, no matter what it is, you can work it out together. Go to the phone. Call him.
Oh, it's no use.
Try. Betty, I may not always be around to help you pick up the pieces. Go on.
Stephen, this is Betty. I got your letter. Stephen. Stephen.
Yes, dear, look.
More?
Connie, listen. I know that one baby can't possibly use all this stuff. I'm convinced that somebody has started a rumor that you're going to have quintuplets.
You'd be surprised
What?
at how much one baby can need.
Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, yeah. I know all these things are necessities, of course. I pity the poor baby that has to choose between stripes and spots to cover its... I mean, there are 17 different types of diapers here.
Oh, there are only 5. Let's see, there's stretches, knits, gauze, pre-folds, and disposable.
Convenience of modern life. I mean, the electric bottle warmers and mechanized burpers here, unstainable bibs, the uncreasable tuckers, and the super frills and the ultra super duper fur bellows here. I don't know how civilization has come this far without them.
Well, don't be so ungrateful. Suppose you had to buy all of this.
Oh, not a chance, dear, not a chance.
Well, if we didn't have so many generous friends.
You wouldn't have to write 3 dozen thank you letters, and I wouldn't have to be faced with the fact of an offspring that would demand that I trade in his tricycle annually on the newest model. Do you know what our offspring is going to be?
A born consumer.
A born consumer.
Oh, you're just in time to help me put away the loot.
Ah, this wasn't a shower. It was a deluge.
You sound like your father.
Look at all this stuff. What is this?
Wait. I know what that is. That is a,
Yeah?
it's a diaper sachet.
No, this is a safety pin holder container thing.
No, I think you definitely call this a luxury. Listen.
A luxury. That is the most important and realistic and most practical thing of the whole bunch.
Father, you spoke to Stephen Cord, didn't you?
I didn't think I had any choice.
He came up to me in the drugstore. He wants to talk to Chris about what I told you. He wanted my permission.
What did you tell him?
Told him yes. I didn't feel I had any choice.
Now, look at Allison. When you confided in me...
I know. I broke my promise then. But once you share a secret, it isn't a secret anymore, is it?
No. I meant to say was that I wanted it to be my responsibility to tell Stephen, not yours.
I think you told him too much.
Alice.
No, all Chris admitted to me was that Ann Howard hadn't pushed him. The rest was only my guess. The rest. I had a feeling that Chris was protecting his brother.
You mean Lee Weppert?
Well, it was just a guess, you see. That's why I felt you shouldn't have told. What if I'm wrong?
What if you're right?
Either way, I put Chris in the middle. Right in the middle.
You're upset, Allison.
No, I'm not. He trusted me. It's as if I led him to the top of a roller coaster and then pulled the brake out.
Oh, sweetheart, you didn't lead him there. He's been at the top of this so-called roller coaster ever since the beginning. Since the first day he found out that Ann Howard didn't push him off that bluff, and he still let her take the blame for it.
You're very logical, Father. You're always logical. I remember once you warned me against hurting Chris by toying with his affections, by not caring for him.
Well, I could still wish that you didn't care as much as you obviously do.
When Chris hits the bottom, it's going to hurt just as much whether I care or not. Wouldn't it be funny if, after all, your logic, it was in spite of my caring for him? Wouldn't that be illogical?
About time you dropped in to tune up the piano.
Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's our money you've just unplugged. I'm giving you ears a break. We're gonna have some live music for change. Now, you play good, and you can have a bottle of beer for just the price of a bottle of beer. You don't laugh at my jokes, I won't applaud your piano playing. You came in here to entertain my customers, not to give them all earaches.
Hey, Ada, stop the jukebox for that.
The complaint department's closed for repairs.
Your customers don't sound like they feel very sorry for the poor, blind piano player.
Don't worry about him. You play what you want. Now, what can I get you to drink?
I don't want anything to drink. I just came in here to hide.
Hi, Stephen. Hey, you know anything about sleep learning?
No.
Some guy with a deep, mellow voice puts this stuff on tape. So when you go to sleep at night, you play the tape, and you wake up in the morning smart.
Now, look, Norman.
You know, I got to learn 20 pages by tomorrow morning. 20 pages. Big deal. Just enough to fake my way to a D.
Have you seen Chris?
Yeah, he just left here a few minutes ago.
Was he by himself?
Yeah, much to my regret. If he would have been with Allison, I could have got some coaching.
No, he wouldn't have been with Allison tonight.
Why, you sound like there's trouble.
Well, there could be if I don't find him.
Trouble for Allison?
No, not directly. Look, I don't have time to talk about it. Try for those 20 pages.
Hi, Norman.
Hi.
Sandy, have you seen Chris?
No.
Do you know where he is?
Why don't you leave Chris alone? You've got to keep on and on.
I'm afraid so.
Afraid so. Well, you're wrecking our family. You got Lee fired from his job.
Cup of coffee and apple pie, please.
You're wrecking our family, and that's the truth, Mr. Corey.